Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're talking about the best Indiana Jones movie. Shut up! Yes, it is!
We're talking about tapes.
Johanna, people say I'm a nice guy.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm very nice.
Yeah, you're generous.
Very generous. I'm very respectful of people.
Yeah.
But, if you allow me to be a little mean for a second. Everyone's an idiot for not liking this movie.
Oh, no, I agree. Including
the director, Steven Spielberg, who made the movie. Why doesn't he like, I don't understand why he doesn't like it. It's like, it's so great. Why don't you like it? Is it a confidence thing? Like, he must have low self-esteem. You know, Spielberg has low self-esteem. He's like, there's no way I could have made such a good movie. So now I have to tell people it's bad because I can't handle the compliments.
Is it because it's darker?
I don't know. If I remember right, they were going through divorces during this.
Well.
I love this movie. I think it's our favorite.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Look, I've said before, maybe technically, I think maybe Raiders, like on a script level and whatnot, might be technically better.
I had more fun with this one.
If I was on a desert island and they said you could only have one Indiana before the guy even finished saying it, I'd be like, Temple of Doom. That's all I need.
Yeah, and they'd be like, really?
They'd be like, really? I'm like, yeah, Temple of Doom. That's it. You can leave it here. Just leave it, Temple of Doom.
Thank you. Bye.
This movie's so good. It's fast paced. It's action packed. Apparently, because when we did those dueling episodes for rental reviews with the Indiana Jones, I did like a lot of research, and apparently like the movie was like too fast paced, so they had to like add in a few scenes to slow it down. And I'll talk about there's one scene where it's real obvious. But yeah, this one was on TV all the time, constantly.
AMC, like always.
Everything. It was just, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just would play it over and over and over again. And I thought
maybe this was least expensive to rerun.
I don't know. I don't. But also it helped with the PG-13 rating, I believe. Yeah, it's weird liking it so much and then like growing up and finding out that people don't like it. They're like, oh, there's not enough world hopping. I'm like, I guess so, because they're only in China in the beginning, and then they're in India.
And then they're in India.
And they're not even like bouncing around both countries.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we're in this city, and now we're in India.
But I feel like there was more world building in that.
Yeah, I didn't think he needed to bounce. I know he bounced around the world in the one. I think people our age, you know, they grow up having the trilogy already available.
Yeah.
And 1 and 3 are very similar. They're world hopping. They're about kind of like a similar artifact. And then this is the oddball out. And I understand that. It's kind of like Star Wars, where it's like, this one's about blowing up the Death Star. This one's about blowing up the Death Star. And then the one in the middle is just kind of like a different thing.
Yeah.
So I can see that, because this is very, very odd. But I don't know. It just, I always enjoyed it.
I don't know why it stuck with me. I really don't.
And I think it's because as a kid, I liked action and I liked horror stuff. And this kind of blends that a little bit.
Also, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice looking movie.
Everything's pretty. Like,
it's a nice looking movie.
It's so pretty.
It's apparently Spielberg thinks it's too mean-spirited. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of heart in this movie. Maybe the bad guys are a little rough. But I mean, the previous bad guys were Nazis. So I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And by the way, technically a prequel.
Yes.
Although, not really. It's
whatever.
Hey,
it's a story.
Here's another adventure. It took place in this year. It's not like a prequel to that pre-existing story. I just love this movie. I remember the one karate school I went to as a kid had the Temple of Doom arcade machine.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I remember it being awesome. I feel like if I play it now, I'd be like, this game sucks. But at the time, I remember it being awesome.
You can go find it, and you can do a video for Thursday.
Yeah, it's just, it's like incredible, and I don't understand, like, I could see if it's like not someone's favorite, but there are people who straight up think it's bad. And I could not believe when we did that video, some people thought Crystal Skull was better than this. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking?
Why are you wrong?
I was like, I could not believe that people prefer Crystal Skull over Temple of Doom.
Okay,
Like, you
I can't
gotta.
keep this hat on the entire time it's hot. I can't do it.
What do you mean? I'm freezing in the very real store today.
You want the hat?
No, it's okay.
It's not even a brown hat.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into the movie. Maybe we can find some things wrong with it that people don't like.
I have a few things that I can nitpick at.
Yeah.
And the one part it's not a nitpick, it's like an actual criticism because it's kind of fucked, but we'll get there.
Okay. So, the Paramount logo dissolves into a mountain on a giant gong. And we find out that we are in China, Shanghai, I believe. Shanghai, I believe. And we're introduced to Willie Scott coming out to a musical number. And actually, so this is, by the way, when they started calling it Indiana Jones and the blank and the blank and the blank.
'Cause they start the same thing with Star Wars, right?
Yeah, because the first one was just Star Wars, and then the second one, they went back and edited episode 4 into it. But yeah, anyway, watch our worst Star Wars episode. We talk about all the movies. But yeah, she comes out singing Anything Goes.
Anything goes.
But in Mandarin, I don't know what they speak in Shanghai. Chinese.
That's it's Mandarin or what's the other one? Fuck me.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah, so Mandarin or fuck me. One of those she's singing.
I forget the other language.
But anyway, she's singing Anything Goes, and it reminds me of when we were in Anything Goes.
It was junior year.
It was junior year. We were in Anything Goes.
Yeah.
That was a fun play. Who did you play in it?
I was just a background character. I did have one part where like it was just me and another girl singing or whatever. So like I got some little stage time, but I had a cute pink dress.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with it. And who were you?
I was a sailor.
Nothing.
Are you implying that I had 2 roles in Anything Goes?
Maybe. Was it a little something a little culturally insensitive?
Look, I might have played a horribly offensive Asian stereotype. But in my defense, I don't even think. By the way, I looked up that play. There's like more sensitive names for those characters, and the old nun running our show, she picked the original, more problematic names. I was assigned that role by a member of the Catholic Church, Sister whatever her name was. So if you're like mad at me,
you approved of it. You did it, and you did the stuff, and everybody thought it was great. And I'm just sitting there like, this is horrifying.
I might have asked for a Fu Manchu stash, but in my defense,
with Igor.
in my defense, there was another guy.
You got a Russian and an Italian.
The Catholic Church forced me to play this character, and Twitter was like a few years away, so I didn't think this would ever come back.
I have a picture of you somewhere.
Oh no, I have a picture. I've shown the picture before.
The video of the whole play doesn't exist because the person filming it fucked it up, and I'll never forgive him for it.
It's pretty funny.
You know what? Who it is? It's the one that Kira had the big crush on, and I was like, really?
No,
Him?
no. Listen. Thank you for fucking up that video, because the picture is bad enough. I don't think people need to see.
The voice?
People don't need to see 15, 16-year-old Tony with like a horrible accent. Anyway, and I remember I didn't realize it was I didn't know what Anything Goes was. And then I hadn't watched it in a few years. We did the play, and then me and you were hanging out. We were like watching the trilogy. We're like, oh shit, it's that song. It took us a minute because we were like, wait a minute.
I was like, this sounds familiar.
And then she says Anything Goes.
And I'm like, holy shit.
And look, I could see how some people might be turned off by this, because it's like, okay, Raiders of the Lost Ark, very, very moody opening. Him walking around, people trying to shoot him. Alfred Molina. And then Last Crusade, younger Indiana Jones, also like.
You show where he gets his scar.
Yeah. Oh God. We'll get to that. That whole opening. Jesus, everyone's stupid for liking that. Anyway, very, very moody. And then this one, it's like, it's a song and dance number. And then there's like some magical realism because they're dancing around the stage, and then they go into like a big head.
Yeah.
And then it's a giant sparkling sound stage where there's even way more dancers, and they're dancing, and then there's reverse photography.
Nah, this was fun.
I love it.
Oh my God.
I love it, but I could see someone going, what the hell is this? Where's Indiana Jones?
He's in China.
Yes. Indy does show up, and he's wearing a nice white tux. Like,
I'm sorry, he has never looked better. Like, when I was rewatching it, I'm like, damn, like, this is, like, at his peak.
Well, he's supposed to look like, whatchamacallit? James Bond. Sean Connery wore the white tux, and I believe with the red thing.
Whatever. He looks so good.
What about Sean Connery? You into him too?
No.
Oh, really?
No. I like his voice, but no, never really got me.
Is it the woman slapping stuff?
Probably. Probably.
That's a selling point for some chicks. Anyway, so he looks like James Bond. Off the top of my head, I can't remember which James Bond. It might be Dr. No. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But yeah, he's got like a little friend who's working there with him. And he's like got to make a deal with Lao Chi. He's got the what is it? The Herbaji. Oh God, what's the name? He's got the remains of
Oh my God.
Hermaji. Some guy. He's got the remains of just some guy. And there's like a bunch of negotiation. And I like
the back and forth.
I like,
the lazy Susan.
The lazy Susan. They're like, he tries to give him cash. He's like, no, the deal was for the diamonds. And Willie Scott shows up, and she has no idea what's going on. Like,
She's like, hey, everyone.
Indy's like ready to stab her. I'm like, oh, how many broads do you think Indy has killed in like negotiations for like artifacts and shit?
Probably a few. Because that did not look new to him. He was ready to go.
No, he was really like, okay, no, I got this. I know what to do. I'm gonna stab his girlfriend.
Also, that guy did not care.
No, he did
not care.
Until a certain point, he did not care. Willie Scott is kind of an idiot. She doesn't really know what's going on. She thinks the remains. She's like, oh, he must have been a really small guy. Now, Joanna, a lot of people complained about Willie Scott in this movie. Do you have any complaints about Willie Scott in this movie?
No, because she whines just as much as fucking Marion.
But when I talk to people about this movie, they say, Tony, the woman is so annoying. And I say, which one? Can you narrow it down? And they go, the one in the movie. I'm like, just the one in the movie? That's my favorite. People are like, oh, the girl is so annoying. I'm like, yeah, have you met them? I have several on this show. And I'm like, oh my God, they're talking again. I'm
going to post that picture of your door on Twitter. Right? Oh.
What?
So on Shop Disney, they released a Steamboat Willie collection, and I was actually very good, and Ian was very proud of me. I could have bought like everything. It was a Loungefly bag, there was ears, there's a bunch of crap, plushies. The only thing I bought was the pin, and it shipped.
Thanks for bringing up.
Like,
thanks for bringing up the people who are about to ruin Indiana Jones again.
Again. I think
again. So yeah, they're negotiating. They poison Indy. They give us
that's a nice callback to the first one with the date.
Oh, yeah.
He actually drinks it this time.
Yes, because they're like watching, and then I like as soon as he drinks it, he's like, never mind, give that back, by the way.
Because he's like about to drink it, and he stops. And I'm like, oh, is this gonna be like the date again? No, it wasn't.
And I like that he has things. He's like, oh, the antidote for the poison. And I love he goes to threaten to kill Willie Scott, and he goes, keep the girl, find another. And I'm like, oh man, what a king. But then Indiana Jones.
Why am I single?
Indiana Jones, he has a friend who's there. His friend dies.
Oh, yeah. That was brutal.
Into the great unknown mystery. I go first, Indy.
And then Indiana Jones kills a guy with a kebab. That's fucking awesome. How can anyone not like this movie?
There's a lot of shooting through things, and somehow no one's getting shot too, by the way.
Well, yeah, the one guy,
the
one guy, I like the first shot. The guy like waited for people to pop champagne bottles to shoot. I'm like, no. Guns and champagne bottles, I feel, sound very different.
Don't worry about it.
This whole action scene is great. The running gag of like Indy's trying to get the antidote while she's trying to get the diamond, while he also has to fight people off while dying. It's just a great back and forth. We hear an early Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, very early.
Yeah, and like the best part is the band never stops playing, and then the dancers come out, and meanwhile everyone's being shot and murdered, and they're like, oh,
no one knows.
We gotta keep dancing. They're professionals.
They're used to it. They're like, oh, just another Saturday.
Yeah, and I love the gong shield.
It was shot right through. It was shot right through.
Yeah, he grabs Willie, he gets the antidote, and they take off in the gong shield. We find out the club. Did you see the name of the club?
I saw the name of the club.
Club Obi-Wan. Like Star Wars.
Does it say, oh no, in a galaxy far, far away. It doesn't say Star Wars. See my porg?
Yes, I see it. Do you see that pork?
Yeah, why'd you have to put it next to very, very important Lego Man?
Shut up. I don't want people to notice Lego Man.
Too late.
Real quick, Johanna. Can you pour us another shot? Because we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate. We need to celebrate. This is a big moment that me and Johanna have been waiting for years and 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 years.
Your death?
No. Oh. I would hope you wouldn't drink to that. Unless it's sorrow.
Sorrow. Sorrow. Mm-hmm.
You're like, I can't believe Tony's dead. He was the best I ever had. And then Ian's like, what?
Ian would be like,
yeah, Ian would be like, wait, what?
That's definitely a lie.
Ian would be like, do you want me to like leave? I don't think you meant to say that out loud.
There, I put a little less for you, little.
Okay. Johanna.
I'm just saying, the moment you're gone, I'm taking over this channel, and it's just gonna be me, Mint, and Crystal.
Good luck with that. Okay.
I could get an answer right now from both of them.
Okay, you ready? You ready, Johanna?
All right.
Let's celebrate.
Mm.
Okay.
What am I doing? What are you making me do?
We're allowed to like short round again.
No, I never stopped.
Neither did I, but you didn't drink that on celebration.
I'm just mad. What is wrong? Oh no, child. This is probably the only movie where I'm like, you know what? The child works.
No, they all say that he's like a racist depiction. People have been saying that for years. And I'm like, why? Because the way he talks, I'm like, it's a little racist to think the way he talks is problematic. Let's say it's more about you. But even the actor came out.
Academy Award winning.
Did he win?
I'm pretty sure he won something.
I don't watch the Oscars.
I'm almost 1,000% positive.
But yes, he is back. I'm going to butcher his name. So Short Round is back. He's acting again. He did a great job in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Which, if you did not watch my 2022 wrap-up episode, I clipped that particular review for the Clips channel. Yes, we're all allowed to like him again. I saw everyone going like, I can't believe it's the guy from Short Round. That's awesome. And I'm like, you sons of bitches have been telling me that he's racist for years. Now we can like him again? I'm like, this is great for me. I can't wait. I would love to see a Short Round show. Hey, Disney, instead of digging up dinosaurs like Harrison Ford, can we get a Short Round show? Can we get that? Would you like a Short Round show?
Wins Best Supporting Actor.
He won?
He won Best Supporting Actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Golden Globe.
Oh, Golden Globe. You said Academy Award.
Whatever. He's going to be the Academy Award winning.
Anyway. This episode was filmed before the Academy Awards had aired. And it turns out Johanna was right. He ended up winning the Best Supporting Actor Oscar. Is Johanna a time traveler? Did she use the Dial of Destiny, perhaps? I think that's a time traveling device. I don't know. The movie's not out yet, but we'll talk about it when it comes out. Back to the review. I've always loved Short Round. Okie dokie, doctor.
Well, not even that. Whenever when he's driving, he has like the little like wooden things attached to his feet for the car.
Yeah.
And fucking Willie's just like, that's a kid.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potatoes. I fucking love him. He's so great.
He's so cute.
And you're right.
And he does stuff too. It's
like,
not even like he's just like a boring sidekick or whatever, just like there for comic relief. He does stuff in this movie.
Yeah, and like I said, I hate like child characters that are forced into movies.
You met me.
What? Oh yeah, no. I was gonna say, I'm like, I hate you too, but we're talking about child characters.
Give me something to throw.
Anyway,
no, I've been very vocal on how I hate certain children characters being inserted for no fucking reason, only to be like, oh, let's make it more child friendly, and it's just like, it shouldn't be child friendly. Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but no, I really like his character. He's fun. He's different. And that's again. I like how different this movie is. There's some like callbacks and similarities, but it's like, hey, this is a different adventure. We're gonna try some new things. They make it to an airfield, and we get a Dan Aykroyd cameo.
Yeah, what the fuck?
doing a British accent. They never do a close-up on him, and he's using a different accent, so I didn't know that was Dan Aykroyd
He
for
sounds
the
like
longest
3PO.
time. He does kind of sound like 3PO.
Because at first I was like, is that 3PO, Zach? But it's not.
Anthony Daniels. What? Anthony Daniels is the thing, and he's going like this. And they're like, Anthony, you don't have to do that with your arm. You're not the robot. So, he gets him a plane, and I like Lao Chi shows up. And this, again, the comedy in this movie just nails it.
So funny.
I love it. See you later, Lao Chi. And then cuts to Lao Chi freighters. So yeah, the pilots work for Lao Chi. Now, this is a little confusing. The pilots are supposed
okay.
the pilots are supposed to kill him. But they stop in Chungking, they refuel, only to fly a little further and dump all their fuel, and then they parachute into India. The mountains of India. It's like, how are they getting home?
Okay. But also, no one noticed that the plane wasn't being flown. Was it on autopilot? Because I'm pretty sure those older planes don't really have an autopilot. There was no, like, dipping or any rockiness. It was a very smooth ride.
Well, I did like that Willie Scott woke up and, like, saw them leaving, and she's like, Indy, or she's like, sir, she forgets his name.
No, she gets up and goes and looks, and she's like, no one's flying the plane.
Yeah, but I like that she keeps calling him, like, sir and stuff, and Short Round's like, it's Dr. Jones! I love this idea. This whole joke here, where she goes, he's sitting in the pilot's cockpit. We know Harrison Ford is Han Solo, and he flies and whatnot, and he flies in real life poorly. But yeah, she says, do you know how to fly? And I love it. He goes,
No. Do you?
because, like, your brain is trained to think, like, oh, he's obviously going to know how to fly. It's like, no, he has no idea. Which they did similarly in the newest Mission Impossible movie that came out. Like,
I watched the first one.
you're missing out, man. Tom Cruise gets in a
I'm
helicopter.
not a Tom Cruise person.
Tom Cruise gets in a helicopter toward the end. You can tell he, like, has just only the basic understanding of how to fly a helicopter. He's like, I'm pretty sure I can figure this out. He's like,
So I lied. There's one Tom Cruise movie I actually do like.
What?
War of the Worlds.
Not Legend?
Okay.
Okay, so there's two
Just
Tom
two.
Cruise movies that you like. Really? War of the Worlds?
I don't know why I like it so
many
much.
better movie.
I don't know why I like it so much.
Eyes Wide Shut's really good. That's a good one. Anyway. So yeah, they escape. Oh, by the way, speaking of Star Wars, Millennium Falcon malfunction sound again. I have them in my notes here. I don't think that's how rafts work. They jump out of the plane. Cool shot of the plane exploding on the mountain.
Somehow the raft stays like this. No, it doesn't flip over or anything. They're perfectly in it. It perfectly lands.
Yeah, it inflates as it's falling.
It keeps going perfectly straight up.
It turns in.
It goes into the water.
Well, it turns into a
rapids.
sled,
Like,
and it can.
everybody's just fine.
So this thing that's meant for the
Everybody's
water
fine.
could be just sled down a hill and survive and not get cut.
Tubing.
I guess.
Think about tubing.
I don't know if this is made for that though. Well, tubing's different. They like make sure it's just snow. They're like on snow, on dirt and rocks. It's not meant for that.
I mean, maybe they prepared because technically in the water you can get into the rapids where it's rocky. So I don't, dude, just go with it. Shut the fuck up.
But anyway, I like that in the water. She's like, I hate this, and then her voice changed. She goes, I hate you.
And I hate you.
They arrive in an Indian village, and everyone's sad.
I like how Indiana Jones just knew it was India.
I love that she's like, where are we? He's like, India. And he's like, are you sure? I'm pretty
And then the guy's just there.
Yeah. The old man tells them that they will take them to Delhi. And what I like about this fact, I don't know if you know about this fact, like he didn't know how to speak English. So he's like repeating what he's hearing.
Did they just hire?
Yeah. So
Oh.
they're repeating, he's repeating what he hears. And he's supposed to be, from what I read, he's supposed to be mimicking Spielberg's mannerisms and whatnot. Or whoever was behind the camera. And like who he was mimicking was like hot and rubbed their head, and that's when he goes, and then darkness covers the land. I don't know if that's true. That's just a fact I read. I'm like, that's pretty funny if it's true.
No, that's cute.
So yeah, they talk about how they had a stone that was very smooth with 3 lines, and it's a Sankara stone.
Yeah, it's part of their culture.
And when it was taken,
yeah,
everything in the village went poorly.
Also, the children are gone.
And then the children were kidnapped.
Yeah.
So they want him. They're like, Shiva delivered you. He's like, no, we weren't delivered. And like, no, Shiva delivered you.
Also, Willie, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's very rude.
Like, what?
I like when he's like, "You're insulting them and you're embarrassing me."
Yeah. This is gonna go into what bothers me later.
Okay,
The food situation.
we'll talk about that.
Like, she's talking about how she's hungry or whatever, and then she's just like, oh, never mind, because it looks like unappetizing. Bitch, eat that food! They are
Okay.
poor!
We're getting to that. Well, those people weren't particularly poor.
The people in the village I'm talking
yeah.
about. Like, that's, Indy says it.
No, that in that scene. I thought you meant
Yeah.
later.
Oh,
the
no,
later
later
scene.
I have my other issue.
Okay.
But, like, they don't freaking get to, look at them, they're all skinny.
Yeah, he literally says, like, this is more than they get to eat in a week.
Yeah,
Eat it right now.
Eat the freaking food. At least, like, if you don't want to eat the, like, mushy stuff or whatever on the side, that, like,
Yeah.
it probably was, like, guano or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Eat the rice.
Willie, you know what? I agree. Willie's bad.
That's probably the only reason I don't like her. I don't care that she whines. She's just very, like, I get it, because she's, like, all, like, hoity-toity, like, I'm rich and la, but, like...
Yeah, she is not a very feminist character. She's
No.
like, I just want to settle down with the sugar daddy and call it a day.
I mean, I understand.
I'm assuming at the end of this movie, she went back to America and realized how much college professors make, and she was like, no, sorry, Indy, bye.
She's probably in Hollywood. Who knows?
Yeah. So yes, they need the stones to bring life to their village, and they miss their kids. One kid escapes the temple, and he tells them like, "Hey, all the kids are at this palace."
Yeah.
What?
That poor kid.
Yeah,
That made me feel bad.
he looked pretty sick.
Yeah. I mean, look at what was happening.
Yeah. Now, I said they added scenes in to slow this movie down. I think this might be one of the added scenes because the outside of the temple, it's like Indy and Short Round on like a very obvious blue screen. It feels like they shot the scenes and they're like, we need a little extra, like, just blue screen it. Because it's very obvious. And like for a scene that it's like, well, they had the village. Why didn't they just shoot here? And it's like, oh, I don't think they had it available.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But this is where we get...
This felt post.
Yeah, and this was Fortune and Glory. They need fortune and glory. So they take off on their adventure. They get on their elephants, and they're wandering through the jungle, and then she sees giant birds. But those aren't birds. They're giant vampire bats. And I looked at it behind the scenes a long time ago, and one of the guys in the movie was even joking. They're like, vampire bats aren't that big. Vampire bats are actually kind of small.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah, vampire bats, there are giant bats.
Put
but
a picture right here. But
Yes.
They're small and they're cute.
Yeah, vampire bats are actually pretty tiny.
No, there's another type of bat that is like large, but they're like the cutest freaking things ever. I'm not even like
They're like little foxes.
They're little, yeah, they're sky puppies.
Yeah.
Like they're literally sky puppies.
Yeah.
If I could have one and domesticate it, like it'd be over.
Willie is not having a good time. She has a constant feud with the elephant, which I feel is one fault in this movie. We never get a resolution to that conflict of her and the elephant.
I'm just saying, if an elephant thinks you're a bad person, you're probably a bad person.
What do elephants know?
They're like the most intelligent creature on Earth.
Yeah, except for when the males go through puberty and they go crazy and start killing each other.
So what humans used to do?
Elephants are violent when they go through puberty. I feel bad for them. They have like a gland that swells behind their ear and it drives them fucking nuts. And they're like, I saw a video of like an elephant with like its insides ripped out. And it's like, yeah, one of the elephants going through puberty just went nuts and it just attacked that elephant.
Yeah,
Now
and
it's
then
gonna
you
die.
wonder why, people who get their periods fucking go nuts every, month.
I've never wondered. I was just like,
Yeah, it's just your insides falling out. and
yeah, they're
stuff.
just
It's-
complaining again.
Yeah, it's fine. Not that that's like probably the most metal thing ever, but it's fine.
Was Willie going through a period in this movie?
I doubt it.
Yeah, she was a little too eager to hop in
yeah.
the sack for that to happen. Although it was the 30s, maybe they didn't care as much back then.
People care when you're on your period?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing in the 30s.
I'm just saying, current times, people care.
I don't know. Listen.
Dude, it's a slip and slide. Like, what? Just don't look down.
When you clicked on the Temple of Doom in your review, did you think we were talking about riding the red wave as it's known? Or the Red Sea?
The Red Sea.
The red wave was that thing that was supposed to happen and didn't.
Yeah.
I know you were upset about it, but we gotta get back to this.
I'm so devastated.
So they camp at night after the elephant throws her in the water and everything, and all of Mother Nature is trying to attack Willie while the two are like playing cards. Literally everything—a giant bat, an owl, everything is going after her. And then Indy tells Willie the origin of Short Round. It's like I caught him pickpocketing. His parents died when the Japanese bombed Shanghai. And they have a great relationship, and then Indy abandons him a year later, I assume.
Yeah, what the frick?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we find out Short Round's a cheater in cards. That was pretty funny. Or he's accusing Indy of cheating, and then he's got the card in the sleeve. That's pretty funny.
He's so cute.
By the way, Indy is such a badass. Jungle doesn't bother him. He doesn't care about this. And he actually shares a complaint with the audience. The worst one about that one is the noise. But yeah, Indy's a total badass. Unless you see a snake!
Cut it out!
It's weird. It's like, I know like snakes are his thing, but like I would still be
Maybe
scared.
that's his phobia.
I guess so, but like...
I don't know. I personally, in the Indian jungle, I would be like, oh my god, like a freaking like tiger's gonna come murder me in my sleep. Like, there's other things than snakes I'd be scared of.
Yeah. It's like me, like, you know, I hate thousand leggers, those centipedes.
Stop, I'm gonna throw up.
Like, I hate them.
Stop, I'm gonna throw up.
But if I was in an area where they were, I would also be scared of other things. It's like, Tony, there might be thousand leggers. Like, oh my god.
I forgot you have them in here.
No, they don't. They haven't been there in a while. And then, but then someone else could be like, oh, by the way, there's also like a fox and a wolf. And I'd be like, well, I'm really scared of those, but I'm also scared of the other things that could kill me. But I do like the joke that Willie thinks it's the elephant and she just tosses the snake, not realizing what it is.
Why'd you bring them up?
Sorry. We're going to get more bugs later in this.
No, that's fine. It's the thousand leggers that I have the issue with.
They find a shrine to Kali. And it's gross. It's covered in like animal corpses and fingers and stuff. And I like that their guides are like, nah, we're out. Goodbye. See you later. But yeah, they arrive at Pankot Palace. And Charter invites them to Pankot Palace. And it's a real party up in there. They got dancers.
Willie's so happy because it's civilized culture.
Well, the British colonizers are there.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke. They're literally. I love that they're like, Charter's like, yeah, the British are here for another unexpected inspection. Like, they're keeping their eyes on them all the time. Willie is planning on making a move on the Maharaja. Turns out it's a child.
Yep.
Now, Indiana Jones wouldn't matter to him, as we learned in the last movie. But Willie's like, no, I'm not going to sleep with a kid.
That is literally a child, Tony.
It's literally a child. Indy didn't care. Willie, if anything, Willie is more noble than Indiana Jones. Sure, she's trying to sleep with older rich guys for their money, but they're not children. The palace, as we learn, was the home of the Thuggy cult, which I think might have been real. Chatter ensures Indy. It's like, no, they no longer, or Chatar. That guy, he says they no longer exist. And like, by the way, he's doing the worst cover ever. They're like, yeah, the Thuggy cult. I heard they were here. It's like, what? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Thuggies? What are they? Oh, it's nothing. And then the British guy's like, yeah, I think we killed all of them. And Charter's like, yeah, you definitely did. You got all of them. No, don't have to worry about any of them coming back.
Oh my god.
But I love that he turns the tables on Indiana Jones, because Indy's like, oh yeah, didn't you do this? Didn't you do this? And then Charter's like, hey, didn't you really insult a guy in this country and he was going to cut off your hands? And I like Indy's like, it wasn't my hands. It was, and he like looks at his dick and he goes, it was a misunderstanding. We got dick cutting jokes. How can anyone not like this movie? They're eating bugs and snakes full of eels and all this gross shit. And people have said like, oh, this is offensive. Indian people don't do that. But I think we were talking in the last episode, or just in general, someone brought it up to me. They're like, hey, wait a minute. Like, that's to show, like, because Indians, like Hindus, are like vegetarians. That's to give you a hint to the audience. Like, these guys aren't on the level.
Yeah.
They're bad guys because they're not practicing the proper traditions and whatnot. But I like that Willie just hates all of it. And she's like, can I just have some soup? And I don't like this scene. Eyeball soup. Not a fan of it.
I understand it's supposed to be a villain thing, but it's also so fucking, like, girl, it's another person's culture. Like, stop.
No, I go to other cultures and I lecture them. I go to Mexico and I see the bullfights and I go, stop this right now. Stop it.
I said food, not show.
That's a culture. And I'm like, stop it right now. Turn this off. And
Also,
then,
is it in Spain, not Mexico?
I assume they're both. So I go to those places. I'm like, turn this off right now. Stop the show. And they all go, okay, because they don't understand me. And then they kick me out. Anyway,
Yeah, no, they're like, okay, cool, go white boy, run down the street, and then they release a bull on
that's
you.
what I do if I was Willie Scott. I'd be like, stop this. No.
it's wrong.
You don't want to eat baboon brains? No. Get it out of
For
here.
dessert. I don't know, the bug kind of looked good.
The bug?
The bug in the beginning looked like a giant scarab or something.
Oh, yeah, that one didn't look too bad compared to what we saw.
Yeah. Everything else I probably pass on, but I'd probably try the bug.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of the scene in The Lion King. I don't know why they make those like grubs look so good.
It did look pretty good.
Right? It's so weird. It's just like, you know what? That actually looks kind of appetizing.
So later on, Indy is flirting with Willie. I don't know
What
why.
is this back and forth?
I don't know why. There's plenty of other girls in that palace, and Indy is just like, she dressed up nice, and he's like, "Oh, you're beautiful," but it's like, Indy, there are plenty of chicks. He's into Willie. He wants to hook up with Willie. He tempts her with the apple. I thought that was pretty funny because women usually fall for the apple thing. It's tale as old as time. It's literally the first story: women falling for apples. So yeah, I like the whole like they're flirting, and you're kind of into it. Then he gets a little too cocky.
I'll let you know in the morning.
Why, you conceited ape.
He's like, well, I'll have to test out my sex moves on you and discuss how your performance was in the morning. She kicks him out. And I like the whole thing where they're like, you'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and they're both like debating. Like,
They're both waiting for like the other one to come into the room because they're both like overconfident. And it's really, really funny. The hero trying to get laid.
it almost
so great.
works.
It almost works. He
And
almost
then
caves.
He got interrupted.
I love this reveal, which Wild Wild West tried to do many years later. Did not do it as well. Because he's back and forth, and there's paintings of people on the wall, and you have no idea that there's a guy in his room. Until, like, the last minute where the guy ends up choking him, which is really cool. And I have my note here. That's the strongest fan ever. He, like, whips the dude and puts the whip in the fan, and, like, it lifts the guy off the ground and, like, breaks his neck. I'm like, how strong was that fucking fan?
I'm always scared my fan's gonna fall on me while I'm sleeping because mine's literally above my bed. I don't know how. I don't know. Because even just like if I put it on the highest, whatever, I see it kind of shaking, but it's supposed to shake, so it doesn't actually rip off the freaking wall. But like, what the?
But I do love when he breaks into Willie's room and she's like, "Oh, Indy," and he's just looking for other people.
He's like, "Wait, no!"
and she has no idea. She's like, "I'm right here," and he's like, "No." Then he touches the boobs on the statue. Yeah, so that's actually really, really fun. Now this scene, I love this movie, but this scene does skeeve me out when they go into like the secret passage, and I like how Short Round keeps bumping into everything. He reveals the 2 corpses and whatnot, but there are just thousands of bugs, like those weird ones that look like leaves to blend in. There's centipedes.
There's those weird like spider ones.
Yeah,
I forget what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about? They have their arms like this.
Yeah.
They're a weird type of spider.
This scene, like I used to like have trouble watching this scene, which I think might be why I like the movie. Cause like it was really challenging to me. I'm like, I really want to watch this movie, but it's making me not want to watch, but I want to force myself to watch. It's so much fun. But yeah, I love he goes into the trap. I love he tells Short Round, it's like, just stand by the wall. And then he activates the trap. He's like, you told me to stand by the wall. That's what I did. And then, of course, Willie is there to the rescue. And that scene's tense because you're like, oh my God, this chick is the worst. They're going to die. They're going to die.
We are going
to die. And then she has to, like, put her hand in the thing with, like, all of the fucking bugs. And again, the comedy. They save the day. They almost get stabbed and everything. They save the day. And then she walks in freaking out and activates it again. Why don't you like this movie? You're all idiots. You're all stupid, and you
so
should feel
funny.
bad.
It's so funny.
I'm kidding. You're not stupid. I'm just exaggerating. Your opinion matters, and if you don't like this movie, that's okay. I'm just saying that. I'll make sure to cut this part out. I'm just saying that to make it feel better. But you really are stupid if you don't like this movie, Joanna. This movie's great. And everyone who doesn't like it is stupid. Anyway.
Glad you cut that out.
I'm glad I cut that scene out. I'm gonna look like a real idiot if this premieres and I left that
Could you
scene
imagine
in.
if you cut that in?
My
Oh
career's
God.
over if I left
You're
that
canceled. You're just
in.
done.
I'm so if the picture of me as a 16-year-old Chinese guy doesn't do it. Me yelling at people
for having bad opinions.
That'll seal my fate. Anyway, they go into the catacombs. These cool temples, which look awesome. The matte paintings in this are really good
Everything
too.
in this is so pretty.
Looks like a bunch of like teeth.
Yeah.
And they witness a ritual happening, and they see the stones. They're like, "Oh, those are 3 of the stones that are like in a big skull." And this is like a ritual for
What is it?
Kali.
There used to be more, right? That's what they
There's
said.
5 altogether. So yeah, there's all these people chanting, and then we see Molaram. Apparently, he shaved his head bald for this, and he just kept himself bald for the rest of his life.
I mean, he looks good.
He looks pretty good.
He looks good.
And I understand people say they don't like there's not like a main bad guy in this. Like, cause what's his face? Belloc is introduced in the first scene of the original movie. And we have the 2 supporting bad guys, Toad and the Nazi general. And like, I guess like Charter is kind of introduced as a bad guy, but we don't really know that yet until this scene. And I guess Molaram is the main bad guy in the Kali, I guess. But like Molaram is technically our main bad guy, and he's introduced so late. I don't think there's a problem with that, though.
No, it's a nice build up, nice
No,
lead in.
I'm okay with that. It's like, oh, obviously there will be a cult leader.
Yeah.
They're discovering it as it goes along. And I know sometimes introducing a villain really late can work or not. I think it works here. Depending on how it's the way the movie's set up, I think it works in this case.
His reveal is so good.
What a fucking introduction!
The music, everything about it.
They bring out a guy and like he rips out the guy's heart.
Kalima.
He pulls out the heart and the guy's still alive.
Which is the most fucked up thing.
At that part, I was like, holy shit, how's that guy alive? And then they dip him slowly into lava.
Lava.
They dip him slowly into lava.
There you go.
He turns into a doll for a second.
Yeah, I did notice. I was like, ooh, guys. No.
By the way, his skin would be boiling off before he touched the lava. He'd be like,
Okay.
ah!
This part versus the part later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, but you know how lava works.
The heat.
Also, lava wouldn't fully dissolve you. And I guess it's magma because it's in the earth.
Yeah, it'd be magma.
Which, by the way, they would... I don't know how well ventilated that cave is. They would all be just passed out. Like, because of the... There's no way anyone in that cave would be anywhere near that. But anyway, it's magic lava, apparently.
I mean, yeah, it has a nice little swirl thing.
Yeah, I like the little whirlpool of it. So yeah, they dip
Looks
him
like a
in,
portal, actually.
yeah, they dip him into lava, and then like as he's burning, his heart just erupts into flame, and Molaram the whole time is like, I feel like they do this all the time, and he never gets bored of it.
Would you?
Do you think those guys get bored of it? Like Chatter?
I don't know. I feel like every time I'd see it, I'd be like, holy fuck, that's
Like
cool.
like Chatter and the guys like who are doing the song, they're like, oh, he's.
Also, aren't they all like kind of hypnotized technically?
Yeah, maybe.
So
Yeah, they had the black sleep of Kali over them. But yeah, I feel like at least some of them have to be like, oh, here we go again.
they ripped that from Black Christmas.
Or Black Christmas ripped it
that.
from the Black
Yeah.
Christmas 2019. Oh my God. If only those girls just hit those guys with torches, they'd be
Just
fine.
burn them on the side.
By the way, the black girl in that movie was in The White Lotus, that TV show.
Oh, Aubrey Plaza's in that, right?
She's in the second season. I
Okay.
didn't watch the second season, but Alexandra Daddario was also in it. But holy shit, that girl was... I didn't realize how hot she was in that Black Christmas movie.
Oh,
Like,
no, she's very attractive.
They were all hot, but then I saw her in White Lotus. I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah, no,
that girl
she's
is gorgeous.
super hot. It's just her character fucking sucks.
Well, she barely even had a character in that movie. But anyway, she wasn't the annoying one. She was the other girl who barely talked, who gets killed randomly. I'll show you.
I don't
later.
remember.
Anyway.
I thought you were talking about
No, not the main girl. Not the main girl who causes all the problems. Go back and watch our worst Black Christmas episode.
me and Crystal get very angry.
People really enjoyed how angry you guys got.
We're so mad.
The ceremony's done. They all leave, and Indy goes to get the stones. I like he sees the snake, but it's not even a real snake, but it still bothers him. He's like, I don't like that. The Indian guy popping out from the rock and screaming gets me every goddamn time. I forget about it every goddamn time. And every time I watch this movie, I'm like, oh my God, because I never expect it. Indy doesn't know that they get kidnapped because he hears the sounds of children being tortured.
He went to investigate that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
They were saying help.
Yeah. But they all get kidnapped. And they're told by one of the kids, like, if you drink the blood of Kali, you become zombies. So that's like a whole thing. So Molaram has his bad guy speech, and he's telling Indy, he's like, hey, we're digging for 2 remaining stones. We found 2, we stole the one, and a Thuggee member hundreds of years ago when the British invaded, like, hid them down here. So that's what we're doing. We're digging for the stones. We don't know where they are. But when we get the 5 stones, we're going to take over the world. And he's like, the Hebrew God will, he says, like, the Muslim God will fall, the Hebrew God, the Jewish God. I'm like, well, depending on who you are, it's kind of the same one. But anyway, he's like, Kali's going to take over all of them. And here we see wrestler Pat Roach. He's back. By the way, I messed up in the 3rd one. He did end up dying, but that was years later. His scene is cut in the 3rd one. So he was going to have a 3rd scene where he's a tough guy Indy has to fight, but they deleted his scene in the next one. I thought he died before they shot it, but he didn't die till like 2004. But there's like pictures and some like behind the scenes footage of it. He's like a Nazi in the blimp. He would have been a Nazi in the blimp who fights Indiana Jones. Yeah. But they ended up
How to go back to Nazis though?
they ended up trimming down that whole sequence and getting rid of him, which that's kind of a bummer.
Why is it always Nazis?
It's not in this one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It wasn't in the 4th one. It was the Soviets. But now the Nazis are back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, they're bad guys. No fucking shit.
Hey, look, as long as it's not, like, as long as he's leaving the Italians alone.
I can't wait for the day.
The Italians are just like, hey, we switch sides. We switch sides. No, because he goes to Venice in the 3rd one. And I'm sure there was a deleted scene where some Italians are like, our bad. Sorry. We switch sides.
So something you would literally do.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, Indy. Our bad. Oh, wait, no. No, they would have been on the bad guy side, though, because that was
Yeah,
like
that
during.
point, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Never
Yeah.
mind. There should have been a scene of one Italian dude going like, Indy, I'm not.
Yeah, that'd be you to save your ass.
I keep telling that Mussolini guy, I'm like, hey, buddy, let's stay.
So annoying.
Well, remember, World War II would have been avoided if Fabrizio survived the Titanic.
God damn it.
Go back and watch your Titanic episode. I have a whole theory
We
that
have to do Titanic 666.
I have a theory that Fabrizio was going to America to warn everyone. But unfortunately, he died.
That's why I was so upset when Jack almost lost the card game. He's like, I'm trying to save the world.
I gotta go to America to warn them. So they make Indy drink the demon juice, and he gets covered by the black sleep of Kali, and now he's evil.
Kali Ma protects us. We are her children.
He's so evil that he is really thrilled to kill Willie.
Yeah, what the fuck? I think this is some buried stuff from prior, personally.
Do you think it's like the Venom symbiote? It's just bringing those negative feelings to the surface
think
and
so.
amplifying them?
I think so.
But he's having a great time. He gets spit on in his face, and he's like, "Don't bother me."
He's just like, do
Now this is weird.
you think that's his kink?
Maybe.
That's why he liked it.
Maybe.
Because he barely flinched, and then he just like touches it, and he's just like,
Yeah. It's weird they don't rip her heart out. Is this a different ceremony? Are they not allowed
Maybe it
to?
makes her suffer more?
Maybe you're not allowed to rip out lady hearts. Maybe that's one of the rules.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh.
But anyway, Indy's or Short Round's like, Indy, please. And this is like heartbreaking. It's like, oh.
He slaps him.
And he's like, Indy, I love you. And then he burns him. And apparently burning will snap you out of your trance. It's like Avengers, where it's like there's this magical stone from the universe and it can take over your free will unless we bump you on the head pretty hard. I'm like, wow, that seems like a really lazy way to get out of that. So yes,
No, that movie was written by a genius.
who you love and agree with everything
Yeah.
he's ever done.
Except for the fact that he doesn't like Alien Resurrection, even though it was his creation. And what was the director supposed to do with what he writ?
I love that. I didn't have it for you for the episode, but I sent you like the interview with the director just shitting on Joss Whedon. It's like, those movies are so
I'm pretty sure I messaged you back and I was like, no way!
The director of Alien Resurrection is just shitting on his Marvel movies. It's like, they're so stupid. And it's like, dude, your buddy made Catwoman. Relax. Anyway.
I think it's more he has a vendetta because, yeah.
It's funny because Jean-Pierre Jeunet didn't say anything about Joss Whedon. And Joss Whedon went around for 20 years going like, that guy sucks.
Yeah, because he ruined his creation. He did everything wrong. What the fuck were you supposed to do with a script like that?
Anyway. So Short Round saves him, and I love, like, he's like, don't worry, kid, I'm okay. And then they all kick ass together. It's reminding me a little bit of the Green Hornet Kato relationship, where it's like, wow, that one guy's way more badass than the other one in this case.
Going back to when the original guy was burned, somehow Willie's right there above the...
Yeah,
Not lit on
Willie
fire.
doesn't ignite on
She's
fire.
fine.
Her dress doesn't catch on fire.
fine.
She's just totally fine.
She's passed out.
She's a little tired. The metal on the cage would be burning her
yeah.
skin. This movie's great. It's a magic cage. Anyway, because it doesn't melt when it goes in the lava. It's magic.
It still turns super red when it comes back up after it
Yeah,
hits the
but
lava.
it's magic.
Okay.
Molaram has like a Looney Tunes trapdoor. He does a little giggle. He does a little giggle. He does a little giggle.
Why does that exist? Did he plan us like, if something goes wrong
I
one
love
day?
Molaram, and then he goes, ha ha ha. They save Willie, who's almost dying a couple times. Chadar being crushed by the wheel. For some reason, that makes me cringe every time. Like, that had to.
I mean, probably
that had to
definitely
have
hurt.
really fucking hurt.
He deserved it.
Deserved it. So we get the Pat Roach fight scene. And I like that he accidentally knocks out his own guy. Like, he throws the thing and it just bonks the guy in the head and knocks him out. Yeah, this, again, fun fight scene.
Everything about this is fun.
It's fun. Like, I love how, like, at the same time, the kids are being freed and they're ransacking the palace as they're leaving. The Maharaja shows up because he's also under the Black Sleep of Kali. And he pulls out a voodoo doll, which I think is a little much. That's more Haitian, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Let me know. Do Indians have their own version of voodoo? But I think voodoo dolls are totally Haitian. But I like it adds another
At
element.
least like island area down, because
Yeah.
especially like you think of like New Orleans and
Yeah.
everybody down there. 'Cause
I'm sorry. Think of what?
New Orleans.
You said like New Orleans or something.
I don't know, New Orleans.
Nolans, as I call it.
New Orleans.
I say Nolans.
New Orleans.
I spent a lot of time in Nolans.
Was it New Orleans?
Yeah, when I worked on the TV show, we spent like a month or two there.
Huh.
Do you not remember in 2014 where I just
Tony,
left?
I like cut a lot of you out.
I was gone for months at a time, traveling the country, filming a TV show. Going, TV will be my big break. And now here I am with fucking people from high school talking about old movies.
Yeah.
Anyways, the voodoo.
You went back to your roots.
The voodoo doll. I was doing hack the movies back then. I'm
That's
like,
what I said.
this is my big break. I don't have to review movies anymore. Uh-oh. Anyway.
These even really reviews at this point. We just kind of talk about them. We talk about tapes.
Yes,
Tony.
we do. So, the voodoo doll adds an extra element to the fight scene, which I like, because it's like, because Indy's kind of winning until he gets stabbed in the back in the doll, which the Maharaja's dicking around too much.
Yeah, what the hell?
He's like, ha ha ha. It's like, just break the neck.
Break an arm.
Yeah, do something a little bit more damaging.
Break his leg and he's done.
I don't know the rules of voodoo, though. Only what I saw in Child's Play, which I don't think is super accurate.
No!
But
Absolutely
the
not.
Maharaja gets woken up from his black sleep of Kali, which is pretty cool. But I do like,
The way he talks.
yeah, I
Like,
heard
no,
these
super childlike,
stories,
yeah.
too. It was only till I was older that I heard the Thucky was real. That's how he talks. We forgot to mention his whole like dialogue in the earlier scene.
That's fine.
I do like this scene where like the bad guy is about to be pulled to the rock crusher, and I feel like Indiana Jones, how I interpret it, I feel like Indy feels bad for him, so he's like trying to make him not go into the rock crusher.
I mean,
because he holds onto the rope.
It's a brutal way to die.
It's like, hey, buddy, I don't like you, but I don't hate you that much.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But yeah, he gets crushed, and I like that the rock turns and you just see the streak of blood. He's like, oh. There was a similar death like that in my favorite James Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies, where they drop the guy into like the newspaper printing press, and then the blood prints on all the papers. And then James Bond goes, they'll print anything these days. Minecart chase.
This is just like the raft. Somehow nothing's tipping over.
I do love when people were like, the nuclear bomb was too much, the nuking the fridge
That's
was
what
too...
I mean.
And I'm just
Everything
I don't know, there was a roller coaster over lava. Like, how do you even build that? I don't even know how you end up building that, to be honest. But it's pretty cool.
No, there's this.
Crystal
there's
Skull-
stuff in the first one too. Like,
Crystal Skull has bigger problems than the nuking the fridge.
aren't they swinging on vines at one point?
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah.
Stop it.
Okay, I thought I remembered something bad like that.
Stop it. Anyway, we're going to get to it at some point. The minecart chase is great. The blend between how they intercut it with like the miniature and the live action.
it's so good.
It's really good. There's a little bit of stop motion in there too, but it's blended really well.
Yeah, I could tell the one part where they hop. I
Oh
was just
yeah,
like-
yeah. When anyone's like being thrown or
Yeah.
hopping, that's stop motion.
But
you
it
can
looks
tell.
so good.
Yeah, it is really good, and I always talk about how like that issue of the color correcting between the two, but in this, I think it's all darkly lit enough that it blends really,
Yeah,
really well.
I think it's fine.
You have to know that it is stop motion to actually really like pick up on it. I love the one tense scene where they have short round above, like between the two carts. That's a lot of fun. I like the whole time short round's like, go left, and then Indy keeps going right into the scariest place ever. And then there's a lot of rear projection. It's all really good. Willie kills 4 dudes.
She's awesome.
She ends up killing like 4 guys. And then Molaram floods the mine, and apparently all the water in India happened to be in that big well. Although
there was just a dam.
I think the well was connected to like an outside source, but like all the water. Because I'm like, we saw a lot of lava. You're telling me none of the water is dipping into the lava and evaporating? It's like, no, it's just that much water. And I love the thing where Indy uses his shoes to stop the cart. He's like, water, and then he just sees the mountain of water
Too
coming.
much water.
Dude, again, like, there's so many tense scenes in this, and this is one of them where they're like on the edge of the cliff and the water's like blowing out the rocks.
Not even just the rocks, whatever, like pieces of like wood, so like trees
Yeah.
and logs and stuff like that.
And it's like, how the hell are they going to survive that? Indy bumps into 2 guys with swords. And he goes to reach for his gun, but it's missing. And now people said this is a callback, but this is a prequel. So how I interpret it is he learned from that situation, oh, I got to make sure my gun is always on me
God.
unless I bump into sword people. Because that one time I went to shoot the sword people and I didn't have my gun. So he learned from this. He's like, oh, is my gun still here? Cool. So in that fight scene in Raiders, he's sitting there and he goes, I remember that time I had to fight those 2 sword guys and didn't have my gun. There we go. Bang. Bang. It completely recontextualizes Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I think makes it better.
Jesus Christ, Tony.
Am I wrong? Can you discount anything I just said?
No.
Exactly. So the rope scene, incredibly tense. By the way, I love Molaram's confidence. Because remember, they still need to find 2 stones. He has all 3 in his bag. And he's like, hey, if you try to kill me, I'll drop all the stones. And Mola's like, no, we'll find them later. We'll probably just drag the river down below. Maybe build a dam. Maybe block off all the water and dig for it again. We're already looking for the other 2. We already got the digging stuff. You can drop them. And he literally says, drop them. They'll be found. You won't. And I like that Mola puts like them all on the bridge to corner them. And then Indy's left with no other choice but to cut that goddamn bridge. And
Like,
again,
they don't see everybody else wrapping their feet and hands.
yeah. Luckily, no one else can speak whenever Short Round speaks because he tells him what to do.
Oh, yeah.
And you think there'd be one guy that was just like, he just told him that he's going to cut the bridge, sir. Like, I guess no one knows.
I mean, Short Round also literally just said to Willie, like, hey.
But yeah, he cuts the rope, and I've always loved the scene. Apparently, this was like a pain in the ass to film because like they were afraid. Like the camera crew couldn't go past the bridge, so they had to like drive around to the other side of the mountain the whole time. So it took a really long time to film. It's not enough that they're hanging from a bridge above crocodiles, by the way. This movie is just so over the top. They're like, no. While this is happening, they're being shot with like bow and arrows and shit. Let's just throw it all in there.
Friggin', what was it? Mulleron at one point, whatever, is like throwing his own people down to knock off Indy.
Yeah. And down below, you just have crocodiles just eating dummies. Yeah. Just ripping them up. But yeah, Mulleron gets the bag and they're fighting over the bag. And then Indy just, both movies, I don't know how he figures out to do the thing he does at the end. Like, I don't know how he figured out to cover up his eyes. And I don't know how he figured out if I do the prayer, it'll make the stones glow and light the bag on fire.
He didn't remember to cover his chest, but he knows the prayer.
Oh yeah, because he almost rips his heart out. Yeah. So he starts to, I understand him using the prayer, but I don't know how he knew to do it and knew what would happen.
I wish that the guy in the beginning at least like told him
when you do the prayer, it makes the stones glow or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, 2 of the stones drop, and then Mola catches the one, but it burns him, which is pretty cool. And then Mola drops, and it's pretty fucking brutal. It's stop motion, and like he bonks his head on the cliff, and then gets ripped apart by the crocodiles.
I like to think he's dead at that point or whatever because
no, because there's another Wilhelm scream, I think, when he's being chewed up.
Somehow he survived smacking into the rocks.
Do you remember around the time Crystal Skull was coming out, that old YouTube channel, they did like a history channel if it was about Indiana Jones and if he was real? No. It was a history channel thing, and it's like, oh yes, we're exploring the legend of Dr. Jones, and it's just like, it's like people from the past who have different interpretations, like, oh, he was a hero, and they're like, he was a murderer, and they have like Molaram's nephew, and he goes, he dropped my uncle into a river and he was eaten by alligators. They have one, it's a German guy.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I have to look that up.
There's a German guy, and he's like speaking in German, and sometimes he's like, my uncle was on his motorcycle, and he put the stick, and he starts crying. He's like, and he flipped. But it ends with a really fat Chinese guy going, okie dokie, Dr. Jones. So it's like the grown-up short round.
Oh my God.
It's so funny. They're like, these are the tools of an archaeologist, and it's like a hammer and chisel, and it's like, these are the tools of a renegade. It's like the whip.
God.
And I'm like, that's actually really funny if there was like a whole documentary about how he was real complicated. Because there's characters saying that he's awful, and there's other characters that are like, he loved his dad. I can't believe you. We definitely watched this together. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, but it's a lot of fun. Okay. Molaram meets Kali in hell. Not his best comeback, but anyway.
No. Was it you betrayed Shiva?
Yeah, you betrayed Shiva.
Shiva
is a Jewish thing. Shiva. You betrayed Shiva. And at this point, this is when Indy is like, oh my God. I am now Hindu because I have actual evidence that Shiva is the one true God. And he must have been really confused at the end of Raiders. A year later, he's like, oh wait, maybe the Jews were right. I'm a little confused.
Maybe everybody's right.
Yeah, and then finally, Last Crusade, he's like, wait, Jesus is real too? I'm getting a lot of conflicted information here.
There's that thing, what was that show on Showtime, whatever? Oh my God. There was a show about gods on Showtime.
Oh, or maybe it was Encore or something. It was American Gods?
Yeah, and like all the gods exist, whatever, but like certain are still in power because like they're actually still believed in. And
I remember Gillian Anderson was dressed as David Bowie.
And then then they didn't bring her back for the second one because there was some conflict or whatever, and also that season wasn't good, so everything just kind of fell off, which really sucks because the first season was really good.
I heard it got like canceled pretty quick.
First season was really good.
Yeah. Anyway, thank God the colonizers show up to save the day. And so the British army and like the Indian army that are like working with the British, they show up and they shoot the thuggy cult and arrest all of them. So yeah, the day is saved, and then the kids and Indiana Jones return to the village. Everyone's happy except
messed up. So Indiana Jones, Willie, and Short Round appear first.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, here's the stone.
Kids, wait.
Like, here's the stone.
Wait for me to bow.
And children. It's just like, yes, I am a god. I did this for you, yes.
And then Willie is just like, oh, I hate you, Indy, and whatnot. And then he plays around with the whip a little bit, and then she's totally into it, which I've had many experience with. Some girls are really into the whipping stuff. I don't know. Girls be angry. You pull out a whip, and they're like, oh wait, actually, I'm on board.
What the fuck?
Not like a real. I've never used an actual bull whip. I'm not that insane.
I mean, that's the whip he has.
Some people are into whips. I can't begrudge them.
I'm not king shaming. Just the way you brought that up.
I've never been into using them, but then people suggested. I'm like, hey, yeah, sure. I've seen Indiana Jones. I could probably do that.
My God. Yeah, that's a getcha. I watched this movie a bajillion times.
Girls are like, are you into whipping? And I'm like, yes, I've seen Temple of Doom many times. I like to think I know what I'm doing. So everyone lives happily ever after, except for Short Round, who gets abandoned in India, I assume, and Willie, who gets stumped by Indiana Jones. What a great movie!
It's really
what a fun time.
It's fun. It's hilarious.
It's
action packed.
It's action packed. It's nonstop. Again, the humor is on point. Everything is on point.
I don't think I really cringed in this movie, except for the you're gonna meet Kali in hell.
That's not too bad. I mean, I cringe when it's appropriate to cringe, like the bugs.
Well,
and
duh.
that
No,
stuff.
I meant like line delivery or
yeah.
something.
And there's some stuff that is ridiculous, but I'm like, based on what these series are inspired by, it's no less ridiculous than some of the old serials. But yeah, it's just a great time. What is wrong with everyone? I think people just wanted Raiders again.
I guess.
And then you kind of got that with Last Crusade, which we'll review, which is a fine movie, but it's just like, okay. And then Crystal Skull tried to be Raiders again. But no, it's a fun time. I wish there were more sequels like this.
Yeah, where it's something different, and they go somewhere else different, and it's a different villain type thing, like
Empire was different. There are sequels,
and Empire's the best one.
Yeah, there are sequels to this day that are very different than the previous ones. But yeah, I think it fell out of that trap of just rehashing things, and for some reason the audience wasn't into it. Maybe they weren't ready for that type of movie at that point.
Probably.
It's just like a Back to the Future thing where it's like, that might not be for you, but
Too
your
ahead of
kids
its time, yeah.
Your kids are gonna love it. But yeah, fuck everyone. This movie's great,
Yeah, no,
and
I love
it's
it.
You know what? It's the best. I retract everything.
There's a
better than
reason.
Raiders, better than Crusade. I'll watch this movie over and over and over and over again.
There is a reason I bought those glass sets, whatever, because Blockbuster was still around.
Yeah.
And it was a glass set that I got, and it was the 4 cup, so it went up to the Crystal Skull. I can't talk. Crystal Skull. I don't know what happened to the rest of the glasses, but the only one I had left was Temple of Doom, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if, like, my parents broke them or whatever, because this is, like, ages ago. I don't know where the Temple of Doom one is now. I'm assuming they probably broke one of those, too. But it's fine. It's not like Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, and I can't buy them anymore.
I can't wait till we get to Crystal Skull so we could talk about the heist. Remember the Burger King heist? Me, you, Ted, and Anthony. The Burger King heist of the century. That Burger King shut down.
Yeah.
When we get to the Crystal Skull episode, we'll talk about how we pulled off the heist of the century. We were so hyped, and then when the day came, it was like, that's it? This is not a big deal.
That was so upsetting. Ready to go.
We're admitting to a crime we committed in 2008. But yeah, we'll get to the
Burger
heist.
King gets enough of my money. It's fine.
We'll get to the heist of the century. Anyway, that is it from us. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you join our $10 Patreon, our $10 Patreon, you get to participate in the live episodes. We're recording this episode before we've attempted that. I'm assuming it went really, really well, and we're still doing it. If not, I'm cutting this out of the episode. So join there, and just join Patreon in general. If you're not ready to join Patreon, become a YouTube member, $2. You get all the bonus videos. If you like what you're getting and you want to up it, head over to Patreon. We got a lot of fun stuff. Maybe I'll be on other platforms too. But yeah, really, really cool stuff coming up. It's a very busy year.
Can't wait till April.
This might come out in April, so what do you wear? Why can't you wait till April?
Either before or after. We are finally doing holes.
At some point, we're doing the movie Holes. You
Dig
probably
up
should
them
have.
holes.
You probably should have specified. You're like, yeah, we're doing Holes.
We're doing holes, guys. There's special adult sites to watch me do some holes. No, I will never. No.
Speaking of adult site, if you go to certain adult site, what name can they type in to find you?
Stuff like hearts.
And if you go to another adult site and type in Hack the Movies, you get some pretty spicy content.
No, you don't.
Fact.
I'm also on Twitch. I need to start streaming again, so like harass me. But stuff kept coming up. But stuff like games.
Yeah, and I've been streaming on Twitch more often these days. I'm also, I don't talk about it enough. I'm also one of the rotating guests on Here's What I Don't Get, the podcast with Tab. And I also have started, I've only done it once as of this recording, but I'm pretty sure I did it more often. I started calling into Royce. You know, Royce, the guy who broke into my home twice to talk about Blade. I started calling into his show Daywave, so you can see me in the morning.
I think he took my key.
God damn it. Anyway, check me out on those shows and check me out here. And I hope you have a good day. Do you love Temple of Doom? Do you agree?
Or are you wrong?
Or are you wrong? If you don't like this movie, please leave a comment saying, I am an idiot, sorry.
I actually want to know why. Not that friggin' Willie's annoying or whatever, because like...
Again, because all women, it doesn't make sense. The complaint doesn't make sense. I agree, Johanna. I'm sure that's what you're about to say.
Come here.
Oh, no!
This is so scary.
What?
Him.
Indy is hanging out with one of those ladies I was talking about from my past.
All right, I'm done. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.